Okay, M5 Volume 4 again. Here segment is called Incarnational Stream Mechanics, and that is November 2nd of 2011. Stand by.
One new topic that I was able to reveal in Canada was the mechanics of simultaneous path incarnational streams. It's time to create the segment on this topic for those who M5 is written. This is not a lengthy segment at all since the explanation is quite simple. In each of the higher self's incarnation is an energy essence of that higher self. This is what animates the physical and allows the higher self to reap experiences. This, of course, means that there is a corresponding energy stream from the incarnation returning to the higher self. While it may appear that there are two energy streams to accomplish this, in actuality it is one. The energy is dualistic within the stream's encasing. The gathering of experiences is the prime objective, the "why are we here" answer of a higher self through Shim's incarnation, since the experiences remain with the higher self eternally and may be accessed by that higher self at any time. This will allow a higher self to temporarily relive any part of any incarnation's life, simultaneous or sequential if Shim so chooses. Likewise, two or more higher selves may interact with each other as any of their game incarnations, especially on the creation levels of post-game existences. I'll let you consider the possibilities there. Each higher self's final incarnation is the exception to this rule of incarnational stream formation. The higher self chooses 3 or 4 incarnations to be Shim's dominance. Now how and why these incarnations are chosen is something I cannot answer at this stage. Once we graduate and our memory blocks are no longer a factor, then we will know this, and lots more. The same goes for why 3 or 4 dominants. These dominants have unique access, within their higher self, to form the character and basic essence of the final. This information is given by that higher self to the dominants in a rote. Again, this is something that all questions must wait till post-graduation. Once the dominants, under higher self guidance, have chosen characteristics of the final for their higher self's approval, the higher self creates the final incarnation stream. This stream has an input from each dominant that wraps around their higher self's unique final incarnational energy ribbon, 3 or 4 substreams to the higher self's major energy. While the energy ribbon of the final serves the same basic function of all that higher self's incarnational streams, there are numerous, exclusive factors here that pertain to the mission requirements of that final and certain abilities necessary to that final. Each final is unique, no two are the same. The higher self is in control and the final reflects the culmination of the simultaneous experience for that higher self. If one were to look at a higher self's awakened final, core, incarnational stream, the difference from any other energy stream would be quite dramatic, as it should be. One factor of this chord is a direct connection to that higher self's nexus of time. The awakened final's last effort will be to activate the nexus and bring all simultaneous incarnations of that higher self back home, graduation. As I have said before, the nexus of time is a most imposing and fascinating creation in and of itself. If this segment is a bit too technical for you, don't be concerned. The information has been passed to incarnations of yours that understand the implications. Trust in your higher self. With the star cluster now having been added to the graduation key, I'm most anxious to see what will be next. It is very hold your breath time. The dark is moving as well to further interfere. The light, as usual in this sector, just 2 O's and ASHHH''S, use me abuse me. Be extra observant to your surroundings and try not to get swept up in the increasing drama.
Here is another segment for N5 Volume 4, Incarnational Streams and Chakra Physical Contact. And this is dated at 8 November 2011. Stand by.
One's incarnational energy from the higher self, the energy that animates the physical body, has 7 major chakras and lots of secondary and minor chakras. These chakra points correspond to areas all over the physical body. In our higher selves, energy concentrations mirror the chakra locations on a physical body, yet since our higher selves look vastly different than their physical incarnations, the locations of the 7 major chakras are placed differently, except for the crown chakra, which is located top, center of the higher self. Higher selves communicate primarily through rotes, yet there are other communications through contact with chakra points. In cases where there are deep, personal ties between 2 higher selves, this is accomplished significantly through melding or partial melding, the joining of 2 or more higher selves while retaining individual integrity. In the physical, especially between 2 very advanced final incarnations, something similar occurs. When there is a spirit connection, the very advanced final incarnation, spirits seek to do a version of spirit melding, and this involves a lot of physical contact. Yet it is important that those, for whom M5 is written, understand that this is not the same as common sexual contact that incarnations have, sex for sex's sake, breeding or pleasure, that can lead to an empty feeling as it is body ID based, not spirit ID. The body ID command structure is familiar with the difference between lust and spiritual connection. Lust is okay and encouraged at those levels. The reptilians, for example, are bisexual, sex for sex itself, and it doesn't matter with either gender. This pretty well holds true for Darksiders here too. The spirit meldings for Earth are very advanced, and finals involves seeking to contact the other person's spirit at the chakras. Examples: to connect with the other's heart chakra energy, the heart chakras connect and the hands explore the area. To connect with the other's defensive area, solar plexus to solar plexus, and the hands touch rub the areas back and front since chakras are accessible on both sides of the body. To connect with the creative generator, genitals to genitals and touch rub the areas. If you can only envision this as body-aided sexual contact, you might as well stop reading this segment, as you are not advanced enough to move beyond body ID controls in this area. One other note: one must take into account their physical body and the natures of those bodies. This type of spiritual interaction can only be successfully enacted by those of the same gender. Remember the segment about opposite genders shorting out spirituality, hence a body ID thing, and the draining of male energy, with nothing of true value in return, by the female. Now that's fine for all other incarnational levels, from low through low advanced. We need those experiences as part of the game and learning experiences. However, now as we are rapidly approaching graduation, you must be made aware of higher experiences. This is one of them. Touching the crown chakra of another who is very advanced sends gentle messages from your higher self to that person's higher self. These are sensations you most likely will not be aware of, but both higher selves will. Other chakra points. Third eye communicates visionary rotes. Throat communicates conceptual rotes. Heart communicates emotional rotes. Solar plexus communicates defensive, protective, secure rotes. Creative communicates creative, original ideas and enhancing rotes. Base communicates core, intensely personal rotes. When spirit contact is made through the physical, a link is formed. Nothing dramatic or permanent, but the energy from one higher self intertwines with the energy of the other through that chakra. Hugging, especially intense hugging, and you really have to move those T1s out of the way, they're too unforgivingly hard and uncomfortable, is the first link which establishes mutual higher self interaction through the incarnations. Combining hugging and kissing makes the link very personal and very natural for mutually attracted higher selves. Now, higher selves who are going to connect in very advanced final incarnations knew that they need to be in the same gender in order for this type of melding to succeed. It is most likely that both of these higher selves were together before deciding to enter this galaxy game, and being in the same gender now finalize what they began at the start. This may very well indicate that these two higher selves will meld into higher experiences. Other factors are taken into account. One is a deep resonance between both incarnations, and it is not sexually based, Mars, but rather spiritually based, Venus, Moon and or others. Once again, if one is still encumbered by the body ID loops, you are, as of yet, unable to grasp this concept properly. This segment is for those who have moved beyond body ID. This is an exceptionally high process for the physical, as it gets one prepared for what's to come once graduation has occurred. Certain higher selves want to proceed together for some absolutely amazing adventures. The prospects have them eager to proceed, and it is time to gather those close who will move onward. I may have more to write on what is covered in this segment. Don't be bullied by your body ID or others' body IDs, an experiential loop that must be broken to proceed even if it is not broken by your current incarnation. Be who you must be. Trust in your higher self. More fascinating things to come.
M5 Volume 4 Spirit Shock 14th May of 2008. Wait one.
I had just finished reading a selection for a local book club. The author conducted numerous interviews of gay personalities and wanted to know what their impression of soul and spirit is. So when we met to discuss the book, I was able to tell the others things they were not familiar with. One soul is your higher self, the real you. One spirit is the part of your higher self that animates the body, incarnation. Very simple from a Matrix V standpoint. Judging by some of the blank looks that I got, I could tell the blank look people were not supposed to get it at this time. With the information you have in the Matrix V series, provided that you are one of those for whom this series is written, you are able to answer many questions that people live whole lives attempting to solve. Whether anyone else can grasp the concept is insignificant. We are not here to save anyone, as I've said over and over. We are here to reclaim our power and know who we really are. When I was on the phone with Val the other day, I used the term spirit shock when he mentioned possible wildcards and their effects on the people living on Earth. Spirit shock comes when one is not prepared for a sudden departure from the physical and suddenly discovers they are no longer connected to their body, dead. If a certain type of galactic wave hit Earth and instantly wiped out the planet, people are alive one moment and dead the next. Enter spirit shock. When the Earth planetary spirit graduates, anyone still alive on the planet is instantly dead. When a planetary spirit departs, all life goes with him. Since nature is the incarnation of a planetary spirit, all nature is also instantly dead and the atmosphere ceases to be. For those who drop dead instantly, spirit shock is a reality in the vast majority of cases because it is so sudden and one is mentally unprepared for it. Those who believe in some type of heaven or hell have a preparation and, temporarily, go to one of these artificial constructs. Focus level 25 on the Monroe scale. One group that does have spirit shock is the group who believes that we are our bodies and when we die, there is nothing. Talk about spirit shock. The ones who will be best prepared for death, instant or otherwise, are those who are part of the graduating higher selves group. Do not be concerned about any perceived weaknesses in your current simultaneous path incarnation. Trust in your higher self. You are not reading the M5 materials for nothing. Any insecurity you may have, pre-graduate, is body-aided and not spirit ID. Spirit shock types also include those who are earthbound, those who cling to their earth location and refuse to move on after death. This is eventually rectified by their higher selves. For them, spirit shock is something the higher self has chosen to experience. When it's our time to depart endgame, our spirit selves will recognize it for what it is. Our higher selves are prepared for this event and each awakened final knows what must be done when the time comes. Trust in your higher self.